Greeting HMC friends, and may you know the blessing of God's presence that is with you today. Today I want to use a hymn to reflect on for our devotion. And it is that old hymn that starts off with those words, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. Early in the morning our song shall rise to thee. Holy, 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 merciful and mighty, God in three persons, blessed Trinity." Now the writer of that hymn was basing much of that out of the beginning of Isaiah. As Isaiah had the vision of what heaven was like and God's presence that was with him, he began to see cherubim. He saw creatures. He saw all the world praising God. And the words that came from those creatures and the cherubim was, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty." And so quite obviously, this hymn begins to speak to us about God's holiness, that God is greater than even our imagination or any human thought, and of the glory of God. And I've been using a little book for my Lenten guide, written by James Howell. And I loved a little section that he wrote about God being holy. And I want to share that with you today. God is holy. What is this holiness? Is it refraining from evil? That can't be hard for God. But Rabbi Jonathan Sacks points out that in the Bible, holiness is this: God, who is infinite and had no problems at all, created and makes space for us and for big challenges. Just as God pulled back to make spaces and time for us, so we pull back, rest, and make space and time for God. And that thought really intrigued me. God pulled back from holiness for your and my sake. And I suppose when we think that we are sinful by nature and God is holy, as the hymn says, "Though the darkness hide thee," that God comes through for us. From that place of great holiness, there is a love and a compassion. It's almost as if the clouds are being parted, the clouds of sin that separate us from the holiness of God. The more I began to contemplate that, God drew back. I don't want to say the words "and became less," but that is an illustration. God drew back for you and me. That is a huge thought for me to ponder on today. And no wonder when Isaiah began to see that vision, the words, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty," must have rung in his ears. And so may they do for us today. So take care, and God bless.